All right, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jim the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is a live show we do every day at 10 o'clock Eastern Time where we give our official picks. And yesterday, Jim the Bag, you saved us. You saved us, Jim the Bag. Overall, yesterday, once again, I had a bunch of leans that I liked that I didn't wind up giving. And my overall record, let me find it. Sorry, I need to scroll down all this crap here. I was 3-5, minus 2 units. But overall, my advice was okay. I had a bunch of leans that were good. Jim's record overall yesterday, 7-3, up 6 units because of a bunch of puck lines that cashed in the NHL. 7 wins, 3 losses, up 6 units. Saved us yesterday, Jim. So that means that overall, we were up 4 units together. We did it together, Jim.
For sure.
We did it together. All right. So we'll see what we can do today. We got, of course, a World Series game, bunch of college football games going on. And, of course, thanks to Intertops, friend of the show, sponsor of the show. Definitely go up there and sign up, and there's also a promo code linked in the description which you can use to get an extra bonus. I forgot what the exact bonus is, but it's an extra bonus with the promo code. And of course, in the description of this video, there's everything, all the links to everything you possibly want, the social media links, all the links to the SBR contests, sportsbookreview.com, which is the review site where you can find out about every sportsbook in existence and figure out which one you want, links to the forum, links to everything, Jim. All right, so I don't even know where to start. I'm just so I'm happy for you, Jim. The breaks are finally going your way. You nailed a couple of those puck lines, which you were losing earlier in the season. You nailed an overtime game, which you were having some bad luck with earlier in the season. And so things are going your way, Jim.
It feels good. I feel like I did screw you a bit. You were so right on with the Sixers, and I think that your hesitation was my fault, so I take the blame for that one.
Actually, there were a lot of leans yesterday, and that was one that I was not annoyed that I didn't give. The one that I am annoyed that I didn't give was Arizona, because we were discussing it, and then for some reason I was like, all right, well, let's move on, and we'll get to it later. You know we aren't going to get to it later, but I did want to give that one. Of course, it went to overtime, so it wasn't, but it was just too high of a line there, right?
It was way too high of a line, and then we found out why. And it was because they put Ranta on injured reserve.
Right.
And Wedgwood came in, and Wedgwood looked okay.
You think that on its own was enough to...
I think so, because we were all thinking that Ranta was going to play. He practiced 4 times. I was thinking Ranta was going to play and solidify the back end. So I do think there was something else going on. I think that was the reason for the big change.
I mean, all right, Ranta has not been doing that well, though. And then, of course, in the NFL game, another one. Finally, we basically nailed it. You had the first half. That was a winner. And I wound up in the morning show. Of course, every Monday I do the Donnie Rightside show. And I said that my best bet on that one was Travis Kelce on the yards over. And that one cashed in the second quarter. Denver has a ton of problems against tight ends. They'd given up a bunch of big yardage games at tight ends in a row, and this one had over written all over it. It's 59.5. And actually, someone during the Monday show, there was a comment that Donnie quoted. He said that someone was like, they liked that pick so much they were making the bet right as the show was going on. And yeah, so overall it was a good day, even though I had a loser overall. But let's see what we can do today. It is a little bit tough. Let's get to I guess let's start with NHL, Jim. How about that? Let's start with NHL?
Absolutely.
All right, Vegas against the Rangers. Yesterday, one of your puck line winners was on the Islanders, fading Vegas when they went to the East Coast. That was a great call. Now Vegas, of course, had their goalie injured yesterday, so now Lagasse is supposed to be starting, I think, and they're on a back-to-back. And even though the Rangers have had some issues, haven't been the greatest team in the world, are you fading Vegas here again on the East Coast on a back-to-back?
I am fading them enormously on the -1.5 puck line.
Yeah.
But I got lucky. Let's face it. The Golden Knights were playing very well when Dansk went down. Lagasse came in and looked absolutely awful, allowing 4 goals on 11 shots. So, sorry, Golden Knight fans, but you guys are fucked. It's been a really nice story. Fleury went down. You managed to get through it. His replacement, Subban, went down. Somehow you managed. Now Dansk has gone down, and you guys are fucked. We will see. We've all seen how bad the Penguins have looked trying to find a suitable backup for Murray. And they might call up Dylan Ferguson of the Kamloops Blazers, who's playing in a league that has 15-year-olds in it. They're in big, big trouble. The Rangers also don't look good. I can't believe they played Pavelec in back-to-back games. If they think Pavelec is the answer, they're idiots. Vigneault knows he's about to get fired if he doesn't turn things around. He's panicking. It's not his fault. It's Jeff Gorton's fault. The team is terrible. They're small at forward, small at defense, easy to play against. I think King-Henrik Lundqvist is going to come back in goal, play well, and they're going to easily defeat this goalieless Golden Knights team. It's been a nice ride, Vegas fans.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dan.
I hear you. All right, so I'm seeing, I'm not exactly sure. I'm seeing on the puck line, I'm seeing plus 159 at Pinnacle, and then a bunch of like plus 135s and 140s. So those can't all be right. What do you have there on SBR odds? I just want to make sure we're not using a weird stale line. Do you have the SBR odds page up there?
Yeah, I'm only getting Pinnacle. It's the only one I've got up at plus 158. Nothing else is
158. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right here. All right, I'm seeing plus 155. All right, 159. Sorry. All right, we'll give you that one because that's what?
Wait, that's just sides. That's not even because I'm taking the puck line.
Right, minus 1.5 plus 159.
Yeah, it's just plus. Yeah, you're right.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, it's just I'm seeing. I think something might be because it's the same line on the puck line's the same line as the sides.
That's possible. No, it's not possible. What do you? Yeah, all right. So SPR odds may be a little bit messed up here. All right. Well, we're gonna give you the Pinnacle puck line as of 10 a.m. Eastern time. Okay.
But I mean that it totally doesn't make sense if the puck line is the same as the.
It could happen. All right, I'm seeing minus 1.5 plus 159, which probably makes sense. I'll check it later on. But the point is, we'll give you the Pinnacle line as of 10 a.m. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Jim likes the Rangers puck line. We'll say for now plus 159. I'll check it to make sure. If that's not what it is, then we'll adjust it later on. And then what about a shot with the total? Of course, Vegas has been going way over, and I'm thinking that the over might be the way to go here. What do you think? It's 6 minus 120 at Pinnacle, although it's showing 6 plus 113 at betonlinesportsbetting.ag.
I think what's going to happen is a back-breaking situation for these Golden Knights where they're going to lose all momentum and focus. I do not trust the Golden Knights to put any goals up because they're going to be so disappointed with how their goaltender is playing.
Okay, I will also take the Rangers -1 with you, not on the puck line, but on the -1 line. And what do you think about the Rangers team total over?
I think that's a great move.
Well, it's probably going to be 3.5. I don't have anything right now for Pinnacle, but it's probably going to be 3.5 at plus money. You like it at 3.5 plus money? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Tricky.
Why don't we? I know we've had a problem coming back to action, but there's not as many games today. So
yes.
Why don't we spend a little time thinking about that?
Okay. Good, Jim. I like how you're thinking on your feet. All right, Jim's on the puck line, on plus 159. I'm on the Rangers -1 line, which as of right now, again, I'll check to make sure we're using the right lines here, but it's looking like -175 at Pinnacle and plus 159 also at Pinnacle. That's a small minus line there for the Rangers -1, and I would have a slight lean to the over as well. Okay, let's move on. Arizona, of course, coming off of their first win of the year, and they beat Philly in overtime, though. Detroit well rested. They returned from the Florida trip, and Detroit is really having problems winning and scoring, but here they are, maybe well rested, going up against Arizona. They'll have a good shot here. I don't know. What's your take on this one?
Well, the Red Wings have a problem, and that's Tatar, Zetterberg, and Nyquist aren't scoring. They have to play like first liners, so they're 1-5-1 in their last 7 because of that. Now, you were right to believe that there's going to be a chance for us to find a lot of value with this Coyotes team, and just because of my recency bias of watching them lose all these games in a row, I have all this fear. But clearly, Domingue is a bum. He's on waivers and gone. Wedgwood looked good. If they could get some confidence in that dress. Obviously, the dressing room is going to have a good vibe in it, finally. Now, Harmlison hurt himself last night and is questionable tonight. That would be a huge loss on the Coyote backline. I think the Coyote backline is not bad. They put a nice group together. Because of Wedgwood and a belief in the dressing room, I think the Coyotes are the play here, but I'm afraid to pull the trigger.
And excuse me. All right, I'm sorry. I just realized I don't have the tablet here for the comments. So, do you have any comments that have been coming up? Because I can't read any of them.
Yeah, well, Michael Maeda said, "How about Rangers team total over?" Like seconds before you brought it up. So I do think that is going to be the spot. There's a lot of baseball talk right now. Rich Banks says, "I agree, Jim. It's time to start fading the Knights." So that's but Skooma Steve likes Knights plus 1.5. I just
Really?
I don't know how anybody could pull that off.
Yeah.
With no goalie.
They look like a team that's in some trouble right now. Yeah, and then the total on the Arizona-Detroit game is interesting because Arizona's been a dead over team all year long, but Detroit's just having problems scoring. And so the question is, which of those do you think is more likely to show their face here? I was thinking maybe a shot with the over at 5.5. What do you think?
I think that would be a lean of mine for sure. But I've been burnt with this Red Wings offense already in the early part of the season, and I'm gun shy.
You don't think that off the rest, coming in here, they know they haven't been scoring, right? So they're going to probably be focusing on having a nice offensive game here. You don't think that...
I think you are right. And the more that we talk about it, the more I think that the over is the play. What are we getting on it?
Well, it's interesting. We're getting 5.5, but the Detroit team total over is 3.5 plus 129, which is amazing. But the total on the game would be at Pinnacle 5.5 minus 120. It's 5.5 most places. Best odds would be minus 120. Man, that's tempting.
I think it's the right play.
Yeah.
And I didn't come in here with that idea, but talking it out, I think that's the right play, and I will add that to my.
Are you sure, Jim?
Yeah.
I don't want you to I want, if you lose units, I want them to be your best pitches.
No, I hear you. You're a great guy, man. But I want the plus. I think after talking it out, it makes perfect sense. Clearly, the Red Wings are getting secondary scoring some.
Right.
Athanasiou has come back, and I think he's a really good player. They got young players with size. They're going to be tough to play against. They just desperately need their first line to play like a first line. They've obviously been called out by the coaching staff.
Right.
Wedgwood is going to go back-to-back after not being in the NHL.
Yeah. And what about Jimmy Howard for Detroit? How do you feel? He'll give up a few, or do you think that Detroit's going to win this one 6-0?
Well, I don't think they're going to win this one 6-0.
Yeah.
But I think that I really liked the way Howard looked in the beginning of the year, and then he started having holes in his game. It's tough. It's tough, but I do think plus 5.5 or the 5.5 over is the play.
All
and
right,
I will
I'll take
be
it. Arizona, Detroit over 5.5 minus 120, and we're both also going to be on the Rangers here. And then the third game is Winnipeg, Minnesota. Very interesting. Winnipeg, of course, off of the huge home blowout win after 2 straight low-scoring OT losses on the road. Minnesota playing kind of decently 50-50-ish. And I guess the big news here, though, is from what I saw, Mason is expected to be in goal for Winnipeg. And is that true? Is that what you saw?
No, I wasn't sure.
I'm just telling you what I saw. I could be wrong. I saw Mason expected in goal for Winnipeg, but we know that for certain if he is in goal, that's probably bad. They've lost all 4 games that he has started this year.
Felt like I saw a ghost on Halloween right there.
Yeah, what I saw is Mason as expected in goal. Do you see any comments saying what people are hearing?
Yes, Bill Perry says Mason will be starting for Winnipeg.
So what does that mean? I mean, he's been terrible this year. But Winnipeg's been blown out all 4. I think one of them was close, but they lost all 4 of his games, and I think 3 of them were blowouts or something.
Yes, he's only looked okay once. I think that is a mistake. I also think that as soon as the Wild get healthy, they're going to win a lot of games, make the playoffs.
Right.
So it looks like Niederreiter will be in the lineup. Now, I think he had a high ankle sprain. That's tough to come back from, so I don't think he'll be a dominant forward right away. But Granlund could be back tonight, and these are top 6 forwards on any team. Now that I know that Mason is playing, I want to fade the Jets.
I mean, you think there's any way that Mason suddenly comes in and turns things around? I mean, possibly, but
I think, what I believe it was his last start that was okay. So I think Hellebuck is playing like a number 1 goalie, has the confidence in the dressing room. And but Mason
and also Dubnyk's starting to play better for Minnesota as well.
Yes, he is.
So I don't know. What do we want to do here? Do we want to take Minnesota here? To take him. The line is a little bit up there. It's minus 140.
That's too much.
You think it is too much? You're not a believer in Minnesota, or you think that Winnipeg has legit danger on their?
I went over the Jets roster this morning like thoroughly. We had a little bit more time because there weren't.
That's what Jim does. He goes over these rosters thoroughly. But I gaze at the lines and the line movement and my numbers, and I make my decision, I make my notes, and then I look at porn for 45 minutes. That's the difference between me and Jim.
It's a good way to start the day, though.
Yeah, at least I have a clear mind when I come in. Yeah.
My mind's cloudy.
Yes.
I'm chock full right now. I'm chock full. But so I went over the roster, and now Matthew Perreault was hurt. And man, I didn't realize how top-heavy this Winnipeg Jets team is. I'm absolutely in love with that first line. Absolutely head over heels in love with that first line. But now with Pro out, they have no secondary scoring. And I think that's got to be a problem moving forward, and it's got to be something that they figure out. Now, I think they expected secondary score from Brian Little, but he's not providing any. And so I don't – now, I love this Winnipeg Jets defense. They're big and fast and strong. Obviously, we question Mason, but until the Jets get real secondary scoring, I don't think they're going to be a great team in this league. And I think that Minnesota has that secondary scoring. They just don't. They just have the injury problems to deal with. You know, I've got to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to put an official pick on this game. I don't trust that Niederreiter will be right. I think he's on his way to being right. I think that if both these teams are healthy, I would take the Wild at home, but I don't like the minus 140 when we know that they're dealing with injuries. You're right that Dubnyk is playing better.
They're getting healthier, though. A bunch of those guys are coming back.
And I hope that we are on the right. I hope that we can get value off of them right away, when they get healthy.
All right, so as of right now, we're both on the Rangers puck line. I'm on -1. You're on -1.5. And we're both on Arizona-Detroit over 5.5, -120. And what we're going to revisit,
I'm gonna definitely take the Rangers team total over. It makes if my whole breakdown of this game is all about the Golden Knights having no goaltending, so I've got to back it up with the Rangers team total over.
Well, no, but then you're doubling up on the Rangers play, and if they don't score, you're probably losing the puck line and the team total.
And I would be we're going to get a plus puck line, so the worst I could do is go down 2 units.
That's true, which is pretty bad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's pretty bad. But I truly believe that Legase is incapable. Well, I shouldn't say he does not look good. He's obviously had nightmares last night, had trouble sleeping, 4 goals on 11 shots, all the pressure on him in the Madison Square Garden now. I mean, he is in a tough spot, and I'm going to take the Rangers team total over. All
right. I also don't have internet here because the thing is, so I can't check what it is. And Pinnacle, because there was no overnight line on that one, Pinnacle did not have an early team total. So I'll just check after, and the first team total over I see for Pinnacle is what you can get. It'll be 3.5 at plus money, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So Jim's also going to be on the Rangers team total over, which will be 3.5 at plus money, and I'm really thinking about throwing on Minnesota here.
Well, CC 924, a guy that I cap with and respect a lot. He thinks this is wild money line revenge spot. Let's see.
Yeah, it's -140. Okay, I will also take Minnesota -1, though. I'll take him on the -1 because I want to take some volatility there with Mason in there. If he has a bad game, he probably gets pretty lit up. So I'll take Minnesota -1. The money line part of that -140 at BetOnline and Intertops and a few other places, including Pinnacle. And the puck line part of that will be +207 at Pinnacle. So that's a modest positive line for Minnesota -1. So I'm on Minnesota -1, Rangers -1, and Arizona-Detroit over 5.5 -120. And Jim is on the Rangers puck line +159, Rangers team total over, and Arizona-Detroit over 5.5 -120. All right, I think overall we have some decent plays there in the NHL, right, Jim?
I mean, good.
They could all lose, but all these bets could lose.
Delta 7575 says I lost twice on the Canucks like that yesterday. The way I'm setting myself up for the Rangers, I said the Canucks are a difficult team to predict right now. And
that was a little bit different, though, because they were going up against Dallas, and the Rangers, I think, are in a better spot here going up against a much better spot.
Well, a much more confident offensive spot.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's see.
And we've seen with that Dallas, just one last point, we've seen who's going to be taking over the net minding there. It sure looks like Lettinen is saying, I want the job. And if he does take that job and run with it, the Stars are going to be a really good pick moving forward, and I hate saying that.
Yeah, man, last night I thought that, last night I had the Columbus under. You had that one under as well, and I also had the Boston team total under on my bets. I didn't give that one as a pick, I don't think, but or maybe I did give that one as a pick, but it was looking good. It was 3-1 deep in the third, and then Boston scored 2. Did you see what happened there?
They've got a lot of heart.
What the hell happened? Yeah.
They've got a lot of heart, that team, and Bergeron's a nice player.
I made a mental note of that. All right, so that's it for NHL. Shall we move on, Jim?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to MLB, of course. Game 6 in the World Series. It's a thrilling series. Everyone's leaving it all out on the field. I'm not really betting it too much because I think the lines are pretty much dead on. And today in Game 6, kind of a similar situation. There's no bet that I'm really liking at all here. I guess taking Houston as a small underdog on the full game or the first 5 innings might be worth a shot, but I'm not going to bet this game. I'm going to pass on this one as well. Do you have a bet on this one, Jim, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to take Verlander with the plus money. I mean, obviously the Astros bullpen is probably going to feed me right in the old drink hole. They've been absolutely awful. Now that Peacock got touched, is there anybody in that bullpen you can count on?
I don't even know.
Verlander has to go 9 innings. And I believe he's capable of that. I believe he's capable of that. Clearly, the Dodgers are going to be taking pitches. They're going to try to foul off. They're going to try to get Verlander out of the game. That is the answer to the Dodgers winning, is get Verlander out of the game.
Well, if you're so worried about the bullpen, you could take Houston on the first 5 innings, which would be minus 105 at Intertops. That's the best line there. Intertops and Bookmaker both have minus 105. On the full game, the best line would be plus 107 at Pinnacle. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. But I think that Rich Hill, these older pitchers step up in these games. This is a guy who was out of baseball 4 years. I expect Rich Hill to pitch very well. I know the Astros smash lefties. But did you see when Rich Hill was pulled last time he started in the series, how angry he was?
Yes.
This guy is so intense, and there's a look in his eyes that I don't see in either Kershaw or Kenley Jansen. For whatever reason, they just don't have that look, that intensity, that I know I can take you down look, and I'm shocked by it. I'm shocked that Jansen says his cutter is flat. I mean, that's all he throws. He's obviously questioning himself. This has been a wildly exciting, crazy series.
So you're going to take Houston on the full game?
Full game.
All right, to end it then.
To end it. And I don't want them to. I mean, I did hedge, but it will hurt my futures. But
okay, plus 107 is the best line. That is at Pinnacle. And Intertops has 106. A bunch of places have lines like that. But Intertops the second best line. A bunch of places have 105. But Pinnacle has plus 107. And I'm going to pass on that one as usual. Any comments? Because, again, I don't have my pad here. So
my man Justin Searcy says Rich Hill going to get touched. He says over 4 runs as well. CC924 says Verlander has to be tired and Astros pen is awful. Delta 7575 says the total is 8 now, and so how can both team totals?
That's actually 7.5.
7.5. Okay, that makes sense. Searcy says Verlander hits the strike zone way too much for the Dodgers to stretch him out. Interesting. Armin, my man Armin, who I love, says can't trust the bullpen in late innings, so the over is the easy call. Hako Schofield says Astros and over low-hanging fruit.
I don't know if there's low-hanging fruit in the World Series, but maybe there is. All right, so Jim, you're going to be on Houston plus 107 as an official pick.
Yeah, Adam Lastman says banking with Verlander. Searcy says Verlander with plus money. Tomor says I think the value is on Houston.
Okay, you are in MLB overall. You're still negative in hockey, but in MLB, I don't know if you're aware, in our shows, 8-4, not bad. Plus 3.5 units, plus 22% ROI in 12 games, Jim.
Yeah, not bad. And I'm almost in the black in hockey.
Yes, minus 1.5, minus 1.4 units to be exact.
Almost back in the black.
Yes. Yesterday you made up 3.9 units. Unbelievable. Awesome. And you could get positive today with all the NHL picks. All right, so is that it for MLB? Let's move on. Let's move on to NBA, where we are also both doing quite well overall. Let me read our overall records. My record in NBA, 15-7 plus 7.5 units plus 31.5% ROI. Oh, yeah.
Let me give you a high five.
You knew that. You knew that.
15-7.
Yeah, totally.
Holy shit.
And Jim, your record in NBA, 21-15 plus 5.7 units plus 15% ROI, which is awesome. And also my leans have. Oh, thanks very much. Oh, there you go.
You're welcome very much.
Also, my leans in NBA. Actually, last night my leans were slightly negative, but my leans have been killing it in NBA. So I'm thinking about trying to push it a little bit and push my leans. I track my leans as well. well, 34-18 on the NBA lead. So yeah, but no, they don't count though. I do that for my own.
Hey, 15-7.
15-7. Yes, that's only 22 picks though. So let's see what we can do today. Today's kind of a wacky card. I wouldn't say wacky, but none of the sides I was liking or bet, but I did bet actually all 4 of the totals, and I'm not sure if I'm actually seeing what I'm seeing or if I'm just got into a weird groove where I just bet every total that I saw. But let's start with Sacramento, Indiana. I did bet the over on this one at 210. It is now 210 or 210.5. So it hasn't moved much. And Indiana has won 3 out of their last 4. They've definitely been productive offensively. They can be very high scoring when they're on. And I was thinking that the total is just a little bit too low. Should be in the mid 2 teens, not 210. What do you think?
It's an extremely difficult game to figure out. And first off, let's give the love to Oladipo, Eastern Conference Player of the Week, averaging 25.5 points a game this season. I didn't think he was capable of taking it to that level, and I'm very impressed. But Miles Turner will miss his 6th consecutive game.
But that's okay for the total.
Yes, but let's go over this though. It's Domantas Sabonis is the issue.
Sure, so, I know he's out, right?
Well, it looks like one site said he had a head cold. Mm-hmm. And if it's his top head, he'll be fine.
Yeah,
right? But
he's gonna be fine.
On Roto World, they said he's got an upper respiratory infection, and that sounds a lot worse than a head cold.
Yeah.
So do you know that in the past 3 Pacers victories, he's hit all 23 of his shots, averaging 13 and 10.2 rebounds. Gonzaga Bulldog. I'm very impressed. Yeah. Now, the Kings rested George Hill and Zach Randolph in Sunday's blowout loss to the Wizards. Now, that should help the over because this team is not scoring. De'Aaron Fox leads the team with 12.3 points per game. Now, I know they have a lot of guys over 9 points a game or whatever, but there's just so many question marks with the roster. So the idea is if Miles Turner and Sabonis are out of the lineup, there'll be more offense.
Right.
So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I took the over on that one. I think that might be the one that I'm liking the least out of the 4 games. You want to make a pick on this one? I'm still thinking about it. We can come back to it.
Let's come back to it.
All right, let's come back to it. Next game that's very interesting, Detroit against the Lakers. Now, I should have listened to you a little bit more earlier on in the year because you said that you were high on Detroit in general. And, of course, they have been absolutely dominating ATS-wise, right? 6-1 ATS, 3 huge margin covers in a row. And the Lakers, after we both took them against – or no, did you take them against Washington? No, I think I took them against Washington. 2 straight ATS losses, definitely showing their true form here. Reports are that they're going to try to play faster and get some scoring, pick up the scoring a little bit. And we have seen flashes of that this year from the Lakers, higher scoring games. And Detroit, of course, can also, when they get to a track meet, can be very productive offensively. So I took a shot with the over on this one. I bet it at 208, and that's exactly where it is right now. What do you think about that?
I think that is the safest spot is the over. I'm concerned about a letdown game for the Pistons. I mean, they just played 2 enormous basketball games,
right.
2 huge comebacks against very good teams in the Clippers and Warriors. And my fear in the NBA is that it's not as simple as it looks.
Yes, never as simple as it looks. So you think that that they'll be lethargic offensively, and the Lakers might put up 110, but Detroit only comes in with like 96 and it goes under?
Well, they had last night off in Los Angeles.
Right.
That is not good.
Right.
We know what happens when players have nights off in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And this was the same situation when I was afraid with the Grizzlies playing the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. And if every time I was afraid I took the other side, I would be much more successful handicapped.
Really? Your fear, because my fear tends to be totally wrong. Every time I'm afraid of something, I should just have the balls to go and do it. Your fear tends to be accurate.
I tend to, when I'm afraid, it tends, if I hit that every time, I think I would be much more successful. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a letdown spot for the Pistons. Of course they should be able to beat the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Of course, they just beat the Warriors and the Clippers on the road. Of course they're going to destroy the Lakers, but the NBA just doesn't work like that.
Right. Okay, well, I'm gonna take the over 208 minus 105. I did bet that one, and I'll take it. What the hell? I hope that they'll be able to. There we go. Oh, Delta 75 saying Lakers over my best bet 211. I guess he bought up to it or he sold up to it. All right, so let's see. Let me see. I'm just reading all these. Wow, Delta 7575 likes it. Pistons 111, Lakers 109. Justin Searcy says Lakers going to put up like 90 and Detroit going to put up like 105. See, I'm thinking that the Lakers put up more than that. I'm thinking that the Lakers have a better offensive game here.
I think the issue is that Bradley is a great on-the-ball defender and Drummond protects the rim.
Salmon AA Clinic says, I agree, Lakers under 100. Wow, I might be wrong about this one. Wow. Dan Kelly saying Lakers 1-5 under. I guess he means that they've been trending under. All right, yeah. Michael Mayed is saying, Loshak, I don't want your picks. I want your leans. Your leans are gold. Yeah, exactly. My no balls plays have been the plays that have been the best. Kind of lifetime.
Trey Day here says the game will be going over, fellas. Nice pick.
All right, I'll go with it. The luxury of being up units is that you can sort of give the second tier picks and not have to sweat them so much, which for me is a good thing. And you're going to pass on this one as far as
I'm going to pass
on it. All right, then the OKC Milwaukee game is another game that I bet on the over. I bet it at 212. It's still there right now. Of course, OKC can clearly get blowout wins, and Milwaukee can keep up with anyone offensively when their shots are falling. So I bet the over. What do you think about that one, Jim? Is that a little bit iffy too?
It's iffy. It's quite iffy. I'm leaning under and may take the under. Now, I'm concerned with the Monroe injury. Jason Kidd has a plan to fill the spot. He's going to use Henson, Maker, DJ Wilson, and Antetokounmpo. My thought, and tell me what you think of this. Antetokounmpo is the MVP of the early part of the season. Clearly, first player in NBA history to average 34, 10, and 5 through the first 6 games of the season. But will the Paul George and will Russell Westbrook do whatever they possibly can defensively to stop this from continuing to happen? And that was the reason why I was leaning under. I truly thought that they're going to stick to him. Now, I know that Antetokounmpo can't really be stopped, but they're going to do everything in their power to stop this from continuing. And that was my lean. My lean was because these guys are going to, the last year's MVP is going to say, I am the MVP. And the only way to get into the Antetokounmpo is you can't tire out a 21-year-old, So,
right.
Let's see what Tomor says. I like OKC here. I think 2 days to prepare. Boston.
I'm just concerned because Hako Schofield said in all capital letters, Lakers under Pete. Wow. That's a pretty strong comment there from Hako Schofield. Then his next comment was, "I like the over with OKC, Pete," which is also one that I was agreeing with here. Tomorino says he likes OKC here. Justin Searcy saying no unders with OKC. Yeah. Delta 75 saying total sharp in the Bucks game. Yeah. God, I might be on the wrong side there with the Lakers game, huh? What do you think?
There's stuff happens in the NBA that are beyond our control.
Yes. All right, well, I bet it, and I'm on it, and I'll go with it. If it's a loser, I'll eat it. I bet it, I'm on it, I'll go with it, I'll eat it. There you go. Story of my life. I bet it, I'm on it, I'll go with it, I'll eat it. All right, so what do you want to do with the OKC game? Do you want to give a bet on that one, Jim?
I wanted to until you were on the over and the chat is on the over, and that might be enough to lean me off of it. Mr. Picks God says over OKC, and he says Detroit over as well. Oh my God! Dolphins just traded Jay Ajayi to the Eagles.
Wow! All right, so we got only about 10 more minutes here, Jim. We got to pick it up. So, are you going to do something with the OKC Milwaukee game?
No.
Okay, you're going to hold off on it. All right.
You guys have led me. You've scared me.
All right. Now, and then the Phoenix-Brooklyn game is another interesting one. This one I did bet the under on, and I got, I think, 230.5, and that is right where it is right now. It's 230 or 231 or 230.5 right now. And, of course, Brooklyn has lost 2 in a row, ATS by margins after the big Cleveland win, right? So something's up with that. Before that, they had rattled off a bunch of ATS wins in a row. And Phoenix, since the coaching change, 3 straight ATS wins. How long is that going to continue? I know that the Nets have a bunch of other big 3-point shooters out. So that, and I'm also thinking that Phoenix is. I know that they've tried to step up their 3-point defense and their defense in general under Triano. So it's a high total here, and I took a shot with the under. What do you think about that, Jim?
I was shocked at the 230 total, but I just can't trust the Phoenix Suns defense or the Nets defense. But you're right, with Quincy Acey hitting 52.4% from 3, he'll miss the game. Damari Carroll is questionable. Now, the Suns are looking like a much better squad with the old knucklehead Jay Triano running the show. They beat the Kings and Jazz at home, then only lost to Portland by 7. So was this going to continue? This is my question. The Suns are allowing 105.7 points per game, and opponents are shooting 36.5 from 3. Are they that team, or are they the team that allowed 128.7 points per game and teams were hitting 50% from 3? The Nets are 9-2 in their last 11 meetings with the Suns. I thought this line was a nice spot for Brooklyn. Is it still 4? Let me check.
Yes, I believe it is. And while you're checking, Tomarino Tomor says, I like Phoenix here. They've covered the spread every game since fired the coach and are playing hard. Phoenix' weakness is slower tempo games because they don't have great inside scoring. Excellent points, Tomarino Tomor. Tomarino says this should be up tempo. Delta 7575 says Suns 115, Nets 118. So that would put it slightly over the 230. Yeah. I bet the under again. I bet all these very minimum unit sizes, but yeah, I was thinking about a shot with the under there. Hako Schofield continuing to post in capital letters, "Stay away, Lakers, Pete." Wow. Yeah. Listen. Again. Look, I bet it. I'm on it. I'll ride with it and I'll eat it. Yeah, Phoenix and Brooklyn. Tomo really liking Phoenix. At some point, their boost from the coaching change is going to deflate, especially with all those youngsters. But this might not be a game where that will happen. I'm going to probably pass on this one. The total is 231. I did bet the under, and I'm not sure what I think about this one. Jim, what do you want to do with that?
I am going to make a bet on this game.
Okay.
I've had success. So I've had a very nice month, and the success I've had is betting against Western Conference teams coming over to the Eastern Conference in both the NHL and the NBA. And I'm going to continue doing that. I think the Suns, yes, they've looked good. Yes, if you're just watching the last few games, the Suns look much better than the Nets over the last 4 or 5 days since the coaching change, sure. But more things go into these games than that. And they're going to travel to Brooklyn, and it's not going to be easy. And I'm going to take the Nets. Now, I didn't see a 4. I only saw 4.5.
There's a 4 at BetDSI right now. -4, -115.
Beautiful. That's
Okay.
what I'm taking. Nets -4.
-115.
Yeah. And I like it.
Nets -4, -115, and yeah, I guess. I mean, obviously, in recent years, I've definitely gotten burned trying to get cute with these high-scoring teams and the super high totals, taking them under, and I've definitely gotten burned more than I've been right about it. So this feels like one of those situations as well. Although I did cash yesterday with an under on a game just like this, but that one also moved in my favor by the time the show was going.
And there's some great points on the board. Tomor, we know Tomor's a great capper. He says, I think Phoenix's defensive stats are misleading because they play up-tempo. They have a lot of young talent. Brooklyn doesn't have a true point guard. I understand what you're saying, and there's absolute truth to what you're saying. But another guy comes in and is talking about how Brooklyn's been at home for a week. You know, Dan Kelly comes in, haven't left New York City in over a week. I mean, Wiz doesn't know if Carroll is in or out. We don't know. He's questionable. But I think that I think this is a good spot.
A lot of interesting comments here. Michael Maeda says, seems like a great day to not bet the NBA. That was actually what I was thinking as I was looking over the 4 games. And Try Day says, trust me, Loshak, great pick with the Lakers. So there you go. Ooh. Except the difference is that Try Day's comment was in just normal lettering, and Hako Schofield's is all in caps. So that means that Hako Schofield presumably feels more strongly about it. Salmon AA Clinic says, I love it, bag nets. I love it, bag nets. Presumably that's a strong endorsement for your Nets pick there. Hako Schofield 5151 saying this is the best fucking show out there. Hako Schofield, give him a clap. Thank you so much, Hako Schofield.
Thanks,
really
Hako.
appreciate it. I don't know what Jim's dopamine serotonin mix in his brain is, but those comments really make my week when I read them. I have some issues with serotonin and dopamine and comments like that. Oh, they do so much for me, Jim. All right. Oh, Michael Maeda. This really is the best fucking show. Michael Maeda, thank you so much. Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Michael Maeda. Awesome. Really appreciate it, guys. All right. So, let's see. And Salmon AA Clinic saying, what's the best hockey play today, guys? Just because he asked that, I guess we're both really liking the Rangers here. It's just a bad spot for Vegas. All right. So we got to go in a few minutes, but we've got 2 college football games. Let's get to that, Jim. Now, these college football games are tough. I'm back in business in college football, right? I had a down week 2 weeks ago where I was sick and then took a ton of pain and sleep medication. And then I think that just threw off my whole entire early part of the week. But then last week on Saturday, I had no picks going until Saturday morning, except for the ones I gave on Thursday, and went 8-4 on those picks and had a great read on them. This one, I was liking Bowling Green. I bet them at -2.5. I missed the 2, and I missed the 1.5 opener, but I did bet them at -2.5. Now it's up to 3 or 3.5 or 4. BetOnline still has 3 -120. It's obviously a game of attrition. Both teams are terrible. Kent State terrible on offense and a little bit on defense. Bowling Green the opposite, terrible on defense and a little bit on offense. My sense is that the improvements that Bowling Green has made recently are more legit than some of the nice results that Kent State has shown. So I took Bowling Green at -2.5. It's now up to 3 or 3.5 or 4 at Bookmaker, and I could give -3, -120 as an official pick. I do kind of like that one. I don't really want to. I got burned last week by giving midweek picks that were just like second-tier plays, but you know what? I will give that one. I'll throw it on there. Bowling Green -3, -120. I'll give it. It's a tricky one because both teams are horrible. But I'll give it. I bet it at 2.5, so I'll give it at -3, -120. And then the Miami, Ohio game is also another very tough one. The huge one there is whether Miami, Ohio's quarterback Ragland is going to be back. I was reading reports that he might be. Either way, I was leaning to the under, and I did bet the under 54 just a little bit. Ohio, of course, has a huge running game that can put up a ton of points, but I'm thinking that this one more likely than not stays under. I'm not going to make that one an official pick, though, because Ohio can definitely, as we saw in their last couple of games, can really run up the score with that running game. So I'd be leaning under on that one, but it's going to be a pass for me as far as an official pick. And in the Bowling Green Kent State game, I will give Bowling Green -3, -120. If my read on Bowling Green is right, then it probably doesn't matter that it's not that it's up from 2 or 1.5 from the opener. What do you have anything to say about either of those games, Jim?
Yeah, I agree with you with Bowling Green, and these teams are hideous. The issue is George Ballas. I mean, he looked competent in their win over Miami, and then looked just god-awful against Ohio last week. Completed 6 passes. And so the James Morgan is looking much better. And then, if Gus plays, I mean, Ohio is the play. The Redhawks are going to be in deep trouble. Billy Ball did look better against a terrible Buffalo squad, but Buffalo's these are just terrible teams, And if you use Kent State as a point of reference, then Miami, Ohio is going to get killed. Now, I know that Ohio was at home when they won 48-3, but if you use that game as a point of reference, Ohio's going to easily cover. Now, I'm not going to make an official pick either. I'm going to just see whether Ragland is going to play.
Yeah. Yes. At some point, I think that Ohio's too good of a team for me to bet against. So that's it for college football. I will make Bowling Green -3 as an official pick. Jim, you're going to pass on both these games?
I'm going to pass on.
Jim's going to pass on both these games, and we do have a couple people here saying that they vaguely agree with Bowling Green. One guy used Bowling Green on a teaser, and we have a whole bunch of other comments. Really, really love. Oh my God. Dan Kelly, Loshak in the bag, the best show anywhere. The Honeymooners is now the second best show. Oh my, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I just love this shit, and I really, really appreciate it. Dave McKenna saying, when are you going to do a Dave the Meatman Scandaliato impression? Pete, wow, these people really listen to what we say. Yes, I can do a Dave the Meatman Scandaliato impression. I will do it the next winning day I have, which was not yesterday. If I have a winning day, I'll do it. I can do it. Dave the Meatman Scandaliato, MEA. No, I'll do an extended one later on. But I love Dave the Meatman. I just watch. Do you know this guy, Dave the Meatman Scandaliato?
Yeah. That's good.
All right. So yes, and then we have Eric Swiatek says, please keep this content coming. I'll tell my friends. Thank you so much. I hope Eric Swiatek is a millennial because we really want to appeal to millennials. I'll do anything to make millennials like me. Anything.
Michael Maeda is asking me if there's any horse bets best for us. Throw us a freaking bone. Man, there's going to be a ton because it's Breeders' Cup week. This Championship Saturday is my favorite day of the year. One favorite came in last year. One. There's going to be huge odds, huge winners, and we're going to do a big thing. So I'm going to put out, the post positions are in play. So I should put out my video either Wednesday, but definitely before Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Sounds good. God, I'm desperate for the approval of millennials. And, just anyone in their 20s, and they're like, you're an old man desperately seeking my approval. And I'm like, yes, please approve. All right, so I guess that's about it. I guess we can wrap it up. A lot of other positive comments that people made, and I really appreciate those comments. And I guess we can wrap it up here. So let's summarize the picks here. Jim is on the Rangers puck line, Arizona, Detroit over 5.5, and the Rangers team total over in NHL. He's also on Houston plus 107 in MLB, and the Nets -4, -115 in the NBA. And in NHL, I'm on the Rangers also, -1 though. Minnesota -1. Arizona, Detroit over 5.5. I'm also on Detroit and the Lakers over 208 -105. A hugely controversial pick there. A lot of people with strong opinions agreeing and disagreeing with me. We'll see how it turns out. And I'm also on Bowling Green -3 -120. And that wraps it up for today's show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everyone for all the likes and the positive comments. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday card.